Mike Reed on Q94.1. Well, great treat this morning. We're so very excited to have in studio with us Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser. Mr. Nungesser, welcome. So glad to have you with us.
Great to be with you. Good morning.
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to start off. I might as well go ahead and butter your biscuits right off from the beginning. You have been in North Louisiana probably more than any politician from the state level that I've ever seen in my life.
Well, thank you. I love the people up here. I love North Louisiana. And as when I ran for office, I committed they would get as much attention as South Louisiana because we've got to do more to promote North Louisiana. And so I love what I do, and I love North Louisiana and the people.
Well, thank you so much. We appreciate you being up here. And as always, lots going on in the state of Louisiana tourism-wise, and that's kind of the big part of your job is to promote tourism in the state. I'm just going to let you off the chain and let you run.
Well, I'll tell you, coming out of COVID, we were thinking, what do we do to compete with every other state? And what do we do better than anyone? We throw a parade. So we looked around the country where they have parades. So we got that Super Gator in the Macy's parade. Then we went out to California and got us Float in the Rose parade. And I'll tell you, this year, having the Peach Fest queen, the Miss Louisiana former watermelon queen, the Miss Merry Christmas from Natchitoches, North Louisiana was well represented. And I'll tell you, those young ladies made me so incredibly proud. They were at that den every morning at 5 a.m. We had a satellite truck doing interviews all over the world because they know about the peaches, the watermelon, the boudin, the crawfish. 22 queens talking about every corner of the state, their love and passion for their town, their city. Made me incredibly proud and really put a great bright light on Louisiana.
Yeah, well, and I have judged pageants, Miss Louisiana preliminary pageants for years, and those young ladies are very impressive. They are some very hard workers, and they're just really impressive. They know their stuff.
Well, and to get up and be at that den every morning at 5 a.m., interviewing and then decorating the float. That float is decorated with all volunteers. We had over 100 Louisianans come out. The week after Christmas, we invite anybody. You can go to our website and look at the hotel. And then we have a shuttle brings you to the den. We found a little old lady in Pasadena has a beignet truck, so we hired her to have hot beignets from 5 to 9 every morning. And Lainey Wilson stole the show, and Louisiana really just set the spotlight on our state.
My wife and I have already committed that when we retire in a couple of years, we're going to see you in Pasadena. We're going to come decorate.
Great. It should be on everybody's bucket list. I tell you, adults, kids, they had just a great time. Seeing those 136,000 roses, flowers, seeds, and weeds go on that float in 3 days is pretty impressive.
Fantastic. Well, I think it shed a great light on the state, got us a lot of attention, hopefully brings a lot of tourism dollars into Louisiana. And tourism is a huge industry in this state.
Right. Prior to COVID, we had 5 record-breaking years. Over 53 million people visited Louisiana, left behind $1.9 billion in taxes. That's over $1,100 per Louisiana family you and I didn't have to pay. Now, we just got our numbers in for 2022. 42.6 million visitors, not quite where we thought we would be, but a lot better than most states. And we attribute it to the airlines not being back 100% all year, and all the hotels, restaurants wasn't fully staffed. They all wasn't open, so we couldn't accommodate as many people. So I believe this year, 2023, but definitely by 2024, we will set another record in tourism.
Fantastic. That's great. That's just absolutely fantastic. So what are some things that you have planned for the near future as far as tourism is concerned?
Well, 2 things I'm working real hard on is to get these docks, as many as we can, along the Mississippi River in Louisiana. We built a new conference center at the World Heritage Site, Poverty Point. We bought a new tram, and we signed a contract with Viking Cruise Line. I was up there about a month and a half ago to welcome 2 busloads. Finally, we're getting large groups to come to Northeast Louisiana to see that World Heritage Site. We also are working on a new site, LouisianaMuseums.com. We're going to film all 211 museums, and then about the World War II Museum. Well, if you go to that site to buy a ticket, you're going to know about General Chennault in North Louisiana. We're going to target market every museum. We've got some great museums. They don't have the money to promote them. And then we're also going to work next year to separate the museum board. We're going to have one in North Louisiana, one in Baton Rouge, one in New Orleans. People in New Orleans don't care about the museums up here, and the people in Shreveport don't care about New Orleans. So we're going to make those boards support all the museums in their region and put people on the board from that region that have a love and passion for their area. And I got an expert to show us that's the best way to highlight all the museums in the state, and we've really got some great treasures.
We do, and people all the time come here, they go to our North Louisiana Military Museum, which is small but mighty, and they are blown away by what they see there.
And we're going to make sure everyone that goes to that World War II museum, which spends millions to market, will know about that museum and every other military museum in the state. Another thing we really want to kick it up a notch is the private-public partnerships at our state parks. We have gorgeous state parks, and we're looking for those local entrepreneurs that want to do something in the park and share those revenues. On Lake Pontchartrain, we're going to be building 10 new cabins with a private investor. We'll split 80-20. They'll make a lot of money, and we'll be able to provide 10 additional cabins. At Bogue Chitto, we put a mountain bike trail. Just named the #2 mountain bike trail in the country. On any given weekend, we have 1,000 people from 10 to 15 states that come and stay the weekend to ride those trails at Bogue Chitto. We want to do more of that, horseback riding. So we're inviting those entrepreneurs to work with us. We can give them the land and do some kind of partnership, but we won't do anything in the state park that hurts local business. We won't open a restaurant or anything that will compete. We will vent everything with the local community to make sure it's a win-win for the community.
Fantastic. And you talk about those biking trails at Bogue Chitto. I think what people don't understand is Northwest Arkansas is basically the hub of bike activity, mountain biking activity in the South. You're trying to draw those riders down to South Louisiana, and we want them to stop in Lincoln Parish at Lincoln Parish Park. I know that there's been a major investment through some of the Love Louisiana Outdoors money, through COVID money, that are improving the bike trails there. And so we can stop people here, let them ride for the weekend, and let them head on down to Bogue Chitto or catch them on the way back to Northwest Arkansas.
Absolutely. And we're trying to connect more of the bike trails around Louisiana. People come from all over the world to Bike America. So the more trails you have, the more chance you get those people coming to stay in your state and see all of your state. We just changed our website just this week to explorelouisiana.com. We showed that word explore gets people excited. We know after COVID they bought record numbers of RVs, camping equipment, bikes. They're going to see the great outdoors of America, and we want them to explore Louisiana. We are the sportsman's paradise. So explorelouisiana.com is our new site, and we hope that will get people excited about coming to Louisiana.
Fantastic. And before we went on the air, you and I were talking about hotels. One of the things that we have here in the Ruston area is we're very fortunate. We have a ton of visitors that come here, both for the universities to come and visit the sporting events and things of that nature, but also to our Ruston Sports Complex. And we were talking about sometimes it gets a little tight on hotels here in town.
Right. What we want to do, people will come here and run a market survey to see if a hotel is justified. What we want to do next year is take and look at the state as a whole and say, in this region, how many more hotel rooms can it support? What other activities or things do they need? In some areas, they need more things for kids. We put the first wheelchairs on tracks at Fontainebleau. We're building a special needs playground, and once we work that out, you'll be able to reserve a wheelchair on tracks to go into the woods and see the deer and all. We're going to put those at every state park. We did that through a survey of people, what's needed at our state parks. We need more special needs things for people with children or adults with special needs. So having those all-terrain wheelchairs at all our state parks is going to be a huge boost for people that are confined from a wheelchair. We'll be able to rent that free, reserve that chair, go through the trails in the woods, go out on the beaches, and really enjoy the great outdoors. So all those things, we want to make sure we look at every region of the state and put what we need there to grow the tourism industry.
Fantastic. And, I want to put two things together that you're talking about. Number one is identifying the needs out there. Number two is those public-private partnerships. I know in Ruston here, when they started coming up with this concept of the Ruston Sports Complex, was just a magnificent facility. My family runs this concessions operation there. We contract out for the concessions and put in the bid for that. And that's been a wonderful opportunity for us. I know that's a great example of a public-private partnership that we saw a need. plugged in, used the expertise that my family has in that area. The city didn't need to be running a concessions operation, but they knew the needs because they had done the research.
Right.
They looked for those public-private partnership opportunities, and it's been a win-win for everyone.
Well, and if somebody wants to build additional cabins at our state park on the lake, we surely would. It makes sense if you get the land free and you can build that construction. And we're looking at a few of the parks. Someone wants to build a little nicer cabin and charge a little more. We only charge a certain amount for our cabins so Louisianans can afford those cabins. That's set by the legislators. So if you want to do a little nicer cabin and charge a little more, we can work that out as well. So we want to make sure we give those local investors, entrepreneurs a chance to invest. We want to keep it local and look at some of the things that fit for those communities. We're looking at a couple VIP RV sites with lazy rivers. Now, we won't put those anywhere where they have a private one in the area because we don't want to hurt private business. But we, like on Fontainebleau, there's none in that whole region. We're looking at some of that land for an investor to come in and put 100 VIP RVs, a lazy river, and those things have been wildly successful all over the country.
Right, and we have 3 state parks just right here in our listing area: Lake Claiborne, Lake D'Arbonne, and Caney Lake. So great opportunities for people in this area that maybe want to look for an investment opportunity and maybe got that little entrepreneurial spirit. A great chance to get plugged in.
Absolutely. We're going to really open our doors this year and go around and have open meetings in communities all over the state with our state parks folks, with the maps, showing what we think may fit there, but really get input from the community so we can move forward.
Fantastic. Well, anything you want to say before we get away from here?
No, I'm just real excited about the future of Louisiana. We're hitting so far above our weight coming back after COVID from other states that are still suffering. They said it would be 5 to 7 years to build back the tourism industry. And like I said, I'll go out on a limb and say if we don't break a record this year, surely next year we'll be back to setting a record in tourism for Louisiana.
Fantastic. Well, look, once again, let me tell you how much we very much appreciate your dedication to the northern part of Louisiana, how much time you spend up here, and making sure that you promote everything going on up here north of the Boudin line.
Listen, it's easy. I tell people when I travel the world and I ask people, why do you send people to Louisiana? The food, the music, the culture. But the best thing about Louisiana, it's the people. We treat strangers like family. They leave here with a friend for life, and they keep coming back for more, and that's something I'm so proud of. So it's Louisianans is the reason we have those record tourism numbers. People leave with a warm and fuzzy feeling and a friend for life, and they keep coming back for more.
Good stuff. Thank you so much, Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser, with all things tourism in Louisiana. Thanks for being with us this morning.
Great to be with you.